Welcome to the Dreamlands. We are back in the deserts of Kharak for something a little bit different this time. We are going to be checking out a free-for-all. 4 players, one of each faction, and a pretty solid lineup of players overall, so this should be pretty damn interesting. Haven't had the chance to cast a free-for-all yet, so I asked the community on Discord to set me up with a game, specifically with one of each faction. I think that would be pretty cool. So it's going to be a 4-player free-for-all. It is going to be on one of my favorite maps in the entire pool, Canyon Outpost. So this should be pretty damn crazy. Let's get right on into it. So player 1, first up we are going to have Empty Soul, of course, playing in his pink Soban. This is a player at this point that everyone should be familiar with. Been around since the early days. Very, very solid player all around. And player 2... I'm not going to bother with orientation on this map because casting an FFA is going to be quite a bit different. But anyway, player 2, it is going to be none other than Mask of the Red Death. This lady is pretty new onto the scene, but we have seen her in one of my recent casts, and she has proven herself to be quite a competent player. She will be playing as the Red Coalition. Next up, player 3, we are going to have Algol playing as the Knef, another player that's relatively new onto the scene but has been playing quite a lot and is pretty darn competent, can come out with some pretty interesting Knef plays, so that should be pretty cool. And player 4, it is going to be once again 10th Wave, playing in his distinct blue and white color scheme, and he's going to be rocking the Galcian this time. I don't think I've ever seen this. 10th Wave is a coalition main and a pretty damn good coalition player at that. So he is going to be rocking the Galcian. Let's see how he does in this match. Now let's check out build orders. I think I'm using the mod that Majir Pack 2 gave me, so we should be able to check out what everybody is up to. Production Cruiser Refinery mode coming up for 10th Wave. He has saturated his main and saturated his first wreck bulkhead, so doing an economic opener. Oh boy, and we've already got a base runner coming forward from Algol with some blast drones that he is going to waste for some odd reason on 10th Wave's base runner. 10th has spotted the play, so we'll see what sort of answer he has got for that, and currently the answer is nothing. He does have Sand Skimmer fabrication researched, so we'll see what he does in the very near future. Algol is saturated his main, long-hauling resources from his first wreck bulkhead. He is getting Sand Skimmer upgrades as well as blast drones, so looking to do some early aggression. Due to how the map is, I expect to see 10th Wave and Algol fighting, and I expect to see Empty Soul and Mask of the Red Death fighting. Empty Soul, what has he got? He has got Support Cruiser Anti-Air coming up. That is pretty crazy. As well as a support cruiser that's almost finished, so an economic opener as well. Saturated his main, saturated his first wreck bulkhead. What's he got for tech? LAVs, and that's it. He has not chosen to recycle his base runner. Looks like the only player that has done so is Mask, and she is sitting on triple AAVs. No armor upgrades yet. I wonder if she's scouted empty. I did see a drone come out for Mask of the Red Death at the very, very early part of the game before she recircled her base runner, and currently sitting on 5 AAVs. That's pretty good. Saturated her main, long-hauling from her first wreck bulkhead. No support cruiser in sight, but it looks like she is going to try and get a little bit of damage done onto Empty Soul, which is pretty cool. All he's got is a fan of LAVs out across the map, so this is a pretty damn good move from Mask of the Red Death. She's probably played empty a number of times, as we all have, and thus she knows that he loves his gigantic balls of LAVs. No upgrades yet. Oh, we do have an armor upgrade out for Mask of the Red Death, so beautiful timing here. Pushing forward with these 5 AAVs. What is Empty Soul going to do about that, is the question. He is currently getting AAV fabrication, and it looks like he's already got railgun fabrication done. I anticipate some railguns coming out for him. Yeah, he's already got one on the field and another in production. Anything going on this side of the map? Looks like double production cruisers on the field for 10th Wave, and he's sending his carrier out. That's kind of odd. Looks like he's going to bring his carrier to a pretty cool position right here. Try and put some pressure onto Algol, who is currently sitting on a bunch of sand skimmers and blast drones, trying to set up his third. He does have production cruiser refinery mode by the looks of it, but here's our first big push of the game. We've got 5 AAVs. Beautiful targeting jammer coming out from Empty Soul. Look at that play. That is how you want to do it. And with these 3 railguns on the high ground, Mask of the Red Death is in a bit of trouble. She wants to use some smoke. Like, just put her smoke here, and these AAVs can get already on top of these railguns. 2 AAVs go down, and they trade for a single railgun. 3 AAVs now. So it looks like Mask's first push is going to get shut down with some beautiful Soban play from Empty. That clutch targeting jammer, a forward ALM, and a little bit of micro on these railguns to keep them alive. Pretty damn nice play from Empty Soul coming out. Finally, a smoke comes out to help this AAV get off the field. Oh boy, 5 more AAVs for Mask of the Red Death already. So looks like she wants to keep up the pressure, and that's a pretty good idea. Look at this side of the map already. 10th Wave has gone up to 3 bases, and he's brought his carrier out. This is a very cool play, I have to admit. Instead of expanding out here, he's expanding closer to Algol with a pretty nice force coming around the backside. He's got some assault ships and some assault railguns. He's even long hauling from this, so he's actually on 3.5 bases, which is pretty cool, and looks like he wants to do a little bit of pressure onto Algol here. Algol is still on a bunch of sand skimmers, and he's in a bit of trouble with these assault railguns and assault ships right on top of them. But ooh, this could be a potentially giant blast drone here coming right over top of the dune. If he lands this hit, it'd be pretty big. Oh, there he goes. Takes down both of the assault railguns, and now these 2 assault ships are in a lot of trouble. However, they have only got a couple of sand skimmers to deal with, but that was a pretty damn nice counter from Algol, I gotta say. Really nice use of terrain with those blast drones. What have we got here? A 3rd production cruiser. So it looks like 10th Wave wants to transition into a bit of I lost my thought anyway because I was trying to keep tabs on what's going on. Bit of carrier harassment by the looks of it. Needs to get some more power. He's already got 2 levels into weapons and 1 level into range. Finally, we got some assault ships on the field for Algol. So currently it looks like a stalemate on the top side of the map. Bottom side, a big push now coming out from Mask of the Red Death. She has got 7 AAVs here. Full armor upgrades. That is pretty beautiful. Going to eat a bunch of railgun hits and use some smoke to get right on top of these railguns. That's exactly what she wants to do. This is a pretty damn nice push. With 3 armor, AAVs can be pretty damn tanky. What has Empty Soul got? He has got the damage upgrade for the railguns, as well as full armor as well. So that's going to make them surprisingly tanky. Mask opting to focus fire onto the support cruiser, but another huge targeting jammer coming out from Empty Soul, going to force all of those units to move. Did the support cruiser go down? Oh, almost. There it goes. So beautiful push. Cleans up that assault cruiser. It's right on top of Empty's forces, not letting up with the aggression. This is a pretty damn nice fight on the bottom side. Pretty good use of smoke too, to keep these railguns from having too much power. Nice forward ALMs though from Empty, going to help stun and force off these AAVs while the railguns brutalize them with sustained firepower. So Empty was able to hold on. He did lose a support cruiser, but he is up to 3 bases. Oh boy, we got a big fight on the top side as well. A huge push coming out from 10th Wave, actually a ton of assault railguns. They are just slowly picking Algol apart, but Algol has transitioned into a ton of assault ships. He's got 8 of them on the field. No armor upgrades yet. We do have the speed upgrade as well as an armor upgrade for the skimmers, so sticking with his composition of sand skimmer and assault ship versus 10th Wave's composition of mass assault railguns backed up by a couple of heavy railguns. That's a good composition for 10th Wave. This is exactly what he needs to counter this, and currently he's sitting at a pretty nice pretty nice situation in terms of military strength, but Algol does have his first siege cruiser on the field, and he is going to start pouring that artillery fire right into 10th Wave's forward base here. Big engagement coming out directly onto the right side of all of the bases. Sand skimmers trying to swoop in and get on top of these railguns, but 10th Wave kiting back and just punishing Algol's push with massive firepower. Oh god, the blast drone though. Oh, I missed that. The blast drone mixed into the sand skimmers. Beautiful play by Algol. Does enormous damage to this giant railgun ball. However, there is just too many assault railguns here. They're eventually going to clean up all of these sand skimmers and force Algol back. A second siege cruiser is on the field now for Algol, so we're going to probably want to see some interceptors on the field for 10th Wave, and yeah, he does have 4 in the hangar currently. Oh, but huge artillery barrages is going to absolutely just destroy 10th Wave's forces. He is going to try and push in here and do a bunch of damage to these assault ships, which is pretty much what you want to do. The terrain is pretty good here to be fighting and avoiding the worst of the siege cruisers' direct missile fire barrages. So nice play from 10th. Good to see him not get locked back here by the siege cruiser barrages, but force himself up onto the high ground position here. And with all of these railguns, he's actually going to do a pretty good job of forcing Algol back, but he doesn't want to get too damn close to these assault ships. Their AoE and extreme damage is going to punish this blob brutally. Nice play by Algol, using his assault ships to screen for his siege cruisers and allow them to force this railgun blob back into range of an artillery barrage, which is going to absolutely decimate this entire force. And all of a sudden, what looked to be a decent military advantage for 10th Wave has suddenly turned around. More skirmishing going on the bottom side. Empty is transitioning into his classic build. Tons of railguns screened by a giant ball of LAVs. And Mask of the Red Death transitioning now into railguns and AAVs. She's starting finally to long haul from her third wreck bulkhead. No second support cruiser on the field yet by the looks of it, so trailing behind Empty Soul a little bit in terms of economy. But look at 10th Wave. 10th Wave has 3 production cruisers on the field. He's for some reason sending his interceptors over here to clean up some of Empty Soul's scouting LAVs. Probably just wants to keep the back of his combat line safe from any backstabs, but Algol is going to just continue punishing him with long-range artillery barrages. 10th Wave needs to get a critical mass of interceptors in the sky so he can start sniping out these siege cruisers, because he is just going to slowly get picked apart. 10th Wave being pretty greedy though. Look at this, he's got 4 bases and long hauling from a 5th, which is pretty crazy. Algol on 3 bases, Empty Soul on 3 bases. Mask of the Red Death trailing behind a little bit. Giant backstab coming out from Empty Soul though, as he is wont to do, with a huge blob of, I'm going to assume, fully upgraded LAVs. If I can click on one of them, yeah, absolutely, fully upgraded LAVs. That is actually going to clean up. Ooh, brutal damage to Mask of the Red Death's forces, cleaning up her entire second base, siege or support cruiser included, and all of the salvagers at that location. So very nice backstab from Empty. Going to keep the pressure up. What's going on over here? Still, by the looks of it, a standoff between 10th Wave. 10th Wave has lost his 2 forward bases, however, transitioning now into a gigantic mass of sand skimmers, and looks like he lost the majority of his interceptors. Unfortunately, do we have missile ships on the field for Algol? It does not look like we do, so unless he lost them to concentrated fire from production cruisers, which is always a possibility. There are 3 of them back here on the map, or perhaps he lost them trying to harass Empty with his interceptors, and Empty did get that early support cruiser anti-air upgrade. So I think it was a mistake for 10th Wave to try and harass Empty. I think he should have dealt with the immediate threat. And now Algol is going to push out big time. And 10th Wave doesn't have a lot here. He is going to pop out a siege cruiser, but that is going to pop right on top of all of these assault ships and 3 siege cruisers and a Knef carrier, so it is not going to live very long, and 10th Wave is in a huge amount of trouble. Algol with an even spread of power, same as 10th Wave. He is trying to shunt into mobility to get his carrier the hell out of there and screen with these assault railguns to force Algol back, and it is working for the time being, but Algol is sitting on a ton of assault ships with max upgrades, as well as a bunch of siege cruisers. Looking to get a flank off too, which is a decent move. 10th Wave is obviously just trying to keep Algol boxed in. Does he have bombers? No. I think bombers would be a good idea. Get some interceptors. When you're facing a Knef player like this who does not have interceptors himself, mass air is the way to go. Some precision bombers to focus down those siege cruisers, and then interceptors to just lay waste to everything else. Oh, pushing in here with assault railguns like this is not the right choice though. There is just too much firepower. Whoa, we got a big backstab coming in from 10th Wave at the same time, sending his sand skimmers around to try and flank. Doing a little bit of damage, but not enough. Algol is just getting that mass, that critical mass of siege cruisers. Oh, he does have missile ships now on the field as well, so it's going to be pretty damn difficult for 10th Wave to do anything about this. Starting to land a bunch of artillery shots, though, on the middle of this blob, but he is trailing very far behind in terms of artillery with all of these siege cruisers and assault ships. I don't see 10th Wave coming out of this engagement with anything less than a crushing defeat, to tell you the truth. He does not want to engage when Algol has a distinct military advantage. What's going on? Bottom side. Empty Soul up to 4 bases, and Mask of the Red Death up to 3. She is finally getting fighter and gunship fabrication. Got a decent amount of power reserves into the carrier, and continuing to sit on fully upgraded railguns and AAVs, while Empty Soul is continuing to mass a disgusting amount of railguns. This is how you play Soban, though. That is their most powerful tool for sure, and a ton of fully upgraded LAVs to back up those fully upgraded railguns. Pretty scary stuff. Keeping that, I like how Empty is keeping his base runner right here, ready to use those targeting jammers. It looks like he has decided it is time to push, though. Oh boy, this is going to be quite a fight. So it looks like for the time being, Empty Soul, or Algol, and 10th Wave have backed off of each other, which is perfect. It's going to allow us to focus on this combat on the bottom side. Oh god, this is going to be a big one. Screening with the LAVs and allowing the AAVs, or pardon me, allowing the railguns to just sit back and trade blows. But Empty Soul has superior positioning on his railguns. These few here don't actually have line of sight, so for the time being, Empty Soul has dominance in this battle. His railguns are in a perfect position, and they're just slowly picking Mask of the Red Death apart. And now there are no AAVs in position to help screen for these railguns. Looks like Mask is going to try and get a flank off, but Empty has spotted it right as she's trying to mass up these LAVs. Empty spotted it, and he's going to come back and force them off with superior numbers and probably superior upgrades. Yes, indeed. Mask is in a lot of trouble here. She is slowly getting picked apart by Empty Soul, and she doesn't have the number of units she needs to deal with this, unfortunately. Oh, she is getting artillery cruisers, though, and that would be damn good, so hopefully she can survive long enough to get a couple of those out onto the field. Looks like she is desperately trying to push Empty back. She needs to get her carrier out here to help support, and that's exactly what she's doing. Perfect timing as well. I'd love to see her start building an artillery cruiser right now. Oh, I hope she has enough resources to do so. Is that Empty Soul launching? Where are those aircraft coming from? Oh god, it is Empty Soul. Is that going to be bombers? Oh boy, it's a bomber. Beautiful play by Empty Soul. You never see TAC bombers. So he has got a couple of TAC bombers en route. And that is bad news for Mask of the Red Death. He's going to target her one remaining support cruiser, take that down. Her economy has been brutalized. Her entire army has been decimated. And Mask of the Red Death is in a ton of trouble. She does have a... Does she? Why can't I see what she has in production? That's unfortunate. Looks like the replay is bugged a little bit. I anticipate an artillery cruiser. Unfortunately, she has no economy left and no units to help screen from these LAVs. So these LAVs could easily get on top of her artillery cruiser. It's going to take a ton of micro for her not to go down right here, right now. Just want to check briefly. All right, Algol and 10th Wave are still both massing up. This is Mask of the Red Death's last stand here. Oh no, she doesn't want to get her artillery cruisers in the front. She wants to keep them back behind the carrier, and as it is, these LAVs from Empty Soul are just going to come right on top of these artillery cruisers and focus them down. They're probably both going to go down as well. Oh man, it's going to be close. Yeah, they are both going to go down, and now the tactical bombers are just going to run rampant, clean up the rest of Mask of the Red Death's salvagers, and she has taken a brutal beating, unfortunately. Looks like she is going to be the first one out of the game. And we still have this crazy standoff between Algol and 10th Wave. 10th Wave can't really break into this, but Algol can't really break out. In a situation like this, there is one thing I will say about Algol. He should be putting all of his power into missiles. Finally getting those interceptors on the field, and with no AA for 10th Wave, looks like he is going to be on the back foot for the next little while, and this is exactly the breakout that Algol needs. He's going to push forward under the cover of that air superiority, and 10th Wave is in a lot of trouble here. Let's watch this push, because this is going to be pretty goddamn majestic. Oh, that carrier and those assault ships pushing forward under the massed artillery barrages of the NF siege cruisers. 10th Wave's entire army looks like it was completely decimated. His carrier has taken a brutal amount of punishment and is forced into full retreat. Still hanging on to that one siege cruiser and these rail guns. Looks like he has a couple of missile ships on the field as well, so that's going to protect him from the sky. Algol is not able to close the deal once again. So 10th Wave is still in it. Continuing to spam out railguns. I would like to see him get his railguns out back over here. Maybe put them right up here. Get a clear line of shot to all these assault ships. And then just use his siege cruiser to keep Algol pushed back here. I think that would be a nice move. Still somehow hanging on for the most part to his 4 bases. Mask of the Red Death is getting picked apart. Constant bomber fire from these TAC bombers. That's a pretty good play. It's going to take them forever to take down this carrier. Bombers do reduced damage to carrier armor. But Mask doesn't really have anything. And Empty Soul is now sitting on 1, 2, 3, 4 bases. Looks like Algol, for some reason, isn't mining off of his main anymore. He's only mining off of 2 wreck bulkheads. Still not able to close the deal. Pushing 10th Wave, though, off of his 4th base. Going to push him down to 3. Slowly push him into the back corner. And just keeps whittling down his forces with all of this artillery fire. 2 siege cruisers, though, up for... Nope, just 1. That's a production cruiser. So 10th Wave somehow still hanging on. Does he have 5 levels of power? He does not. He's trailing behind pretty badly in terms of power. A nice missile barrage from that Galcian carrier would do wonders against this giant blob as well. But he's just not able to get the position that he needs or the critical mass of units that he needs. And I feel like he's getting slowly picked apart by Algol, who has a pretty damn terrifying army. Look at this. 3 siege cruisers, 4 missile ships, a ton of skimmers, and a huge blob of assault ships, which is just going to brute force its way in. It could actually just push back through here. I feel like Algol is being a little bit too hesitant. Mask of the Red Death apparently suicided her carrier. I do apologize for missing that. But she was charging forward with like a 75% health carrier, and there was a ton of railguns here, so she probably just suicided herself after losing her entire army. So Mask of the Red Death, first player out. It is now Empty Soul alone on his side of the map, making him the most dangerous player in this game right now. So if I was 10th wave, I'd be pretty worried. But who knows if he knows that Mask is out. Does he know that? Does it appear in an FFA when one player dies? I think it should. Oh yeah, look at this. This is exactly what Empty Soul wants to do. He wants to send a giant ball of LAVs to clean up all of Algol's economy. So at this point in the game, 10th wave is the biggest, Empty Soul is the biggest threat, and if I was these players, I would stop worrying about killing each other, and I would try and go and kill Empty. But that's just me. It looks like Algol has his sights set on cleaning up 10th wave once and for all. So finally, all of these assault ships push in here. They are slowly cleaning up all of 10th wave's economy. You can safely ignore all of this stuff and just destroy this entire base. So 10th wave is down to 2 mining locations. This one is about to get absolutely destroyed by the Knef carrier, as well as all of these siege cruisers. Oh, this Galician siege cruiser sorely out of position. It is going to get absolutely destroyed. 10th wave is in full retreat now. All of his resourcing has been cleaned up. And it looks like he is going to, eat a ton of Knef missile fire. This entire blob got absolutely decimated. Ugh. Holy man. Beautiful push by Algol. And 10th wave is in a lot of trouble. He is stuck very much between a rock and a hard place. If he goes to his right, he gets killed by Empty, and if he goes to his left, he gets killed by Algol. So it looks like 10th wave is going to be the second man out, and it's going to come down to a Soban versus Knef.
Alert. Hostile strike fighter overhead. Hostile threat marked on sensors.
10th wave's not going to give up, though. He is going to retreat with his carrier.
Roger that. Coordinates confirmed.
And I'm not sure that there's anything else he can really do. Empty Soul should be pushing right now. I don't know why he's just sitting here. There is all of this juicy resourcing ripe for the cleaning. Finally, it looks like he is going to send in this big swarm of bright pink LAVs and clean up all of this stuff. Perfect timing. Algol is sorely out of position. There is absolutely nothing he can do about this currently, so he is going to lose pretty much all of his resourcing back here and going to be forced to camp out over by 10th wave. And 10th wave starting position. Somehow he did not finish 10th wave off. I don't know why. Once again, you should just kill him, in my opinion, and Empty should kill him too. No offense, 10th.
Hostile threat marked on sensors.
Empty playing shockingly passively now. Maybe he's just trying to tech up to battle cruisers or something. Yeah, he's got so much. Look at this. Almost a 10k CU float and a 3k RU float, and every single research in the entire game. So that's pretty cool. He is going to be very dangerous, and I don't know what what Algol is going to do about it. 10th wave can't do shit at this point in the game. He's somehow hanging on. Watch him come back and win somehow. That would just be hilarious. Oh boy, here comes a microwave emitter. And tactical bombers. Beautiful play. The tac bombers want to come right here. This is where they want to hit. All of these LAVs are going to get absolutely just iced. Yeah, here comes the tac bombers. Let's watch this. This is going to be beautiful. We rarely get to see tac bombers. Oh, they're going to eat so much AA, though. One of them is going to go down. A second one goes down as well. A third one goes down. So they all get cleaned up after doing pretty much no damage whatsoever. And that's why you don't see tactical bombers in this game very often. If there ever is a patch for this game, which I am still holding out hope for, perhaps foolishly, but if there is one, I would love to see some tactical bomber buffs because they are such a cool unit. and they are just underutilized, and in my opinion it's because they just come way too late in the tech tree and are just too easily countered. They don't have the tankiness and they don't have the speed. Oh, 10th Wave is getting sandwiched right now in a bad way. Empty Soul has decided it is time to clean him up, so sending all of these Soban railguns forward. They're going to clean this up big time. 10th Wave, though, not giving up, so you got to give him credit for that. His carrier is almost dead, and all of his forces are dead, and he is barely in this game. And Empty Soul is just slowly closing the gap.
Enemy armor destroyed.
This is the thing about FFAs. In my experience, once one of the players gets knocked out, the player who was on that side of the map with them is going to become stupidly overpowered. So if you are in a game like this and you are Algol or 10th Wave, and you are wasting all of your forces trying to kill the other person and not succeeding, as soon as Mask went down, they both should have attacked Empty because he was the real threat. 10th Wave knows that it is over, so he is the second player out. Coalition was the first to get knocked out, Galcian the second. By no means a indicator of faction strength, just how it turned out, and it is down to Algol as the Knef and Empty Soul as the Soban. Still, those TAC bombers coming in and dying to masked anti-air. They are getting their payloads dropped though, so that's pretty cool, but they are dying. However, Empty Soul has so much resources, he can just suicide units all day, all night, and it doesn't even matter. But it looks like he is going to close the gap, and Algol's carrier is right here, taking brutal punishment from all of these railguns. He needs to be pretty damn careful. Soban railguns are going to switch targets now and try and focus down these siege cruisers, which are going to get on top of them and do a brutal amount of punishment. Algol's carrier just spamming out missiles. Finally, some forward ALM is going to try and put the stuns out, and Empty Soul is just going to kite with these railguns and send bombers overhead to try and close the deal. Algol's carrier is actually not taking very much damage at all. He's got so much power, holy smokes. For some reason, he has a lot of power into close combat weapons, which is not going to help him at all. He should be sitting here with 5 power in healing and 5 power in missiles. That's what he wants to have. He is going to spam out tons of missiles. However, almost all of his siege cruisers have been cleaned up, as well as his forward production cruiser. So some pretty nice play, sending these bombers overhead while the railguns push forward. Gunships now and a microwave emitter. So looks like Empty Soul has decided it is time to close the deal. Going to force him into this microwave emitter, focus him down with railguns, and flank him with his carrier, and it looks like Empty Soul is probably going to take this game. So we're going to have a Soban victory in this faction deathmatch. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I sure enjoyed casting it. I would like to see some more FFAs up on the channel. If you guys agree with me, then let me know in the comments what you thought of this. Let me know what you think of my casting. It's pretty hard to cast an FFA, but I think I stayed on top of it as well as I could, reasonably. And oh, Empty Soul's carrier is going to do a leap right at the end. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you think in the comments. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet done so, and I'll see you for the next video.